Shingisa yon.
Thank you so much. I think it's also worth indicating that we are some participants who will be following the proceedings virtually, more especially those from UNESCO. And we also have one of the guests who will deliver the speech virtually. So I thought it's important to indicate that before we proceed with the program. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite the Director of Community Engagement, Professor Warren Chandani, to come and give us opening and welcome address. So let's welcome Professor Chandani to the podium.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, including our guests online, it is with greatest pleasure for me to welcome you in this, the occasion of the 50th anniversary celebration of the Vhembe Biosphere Unesco Mab anniversary. I personally like celebrations. The Vice Chancellor and Principal, Dr. Bernard Tameli, and the members of executives who are here today, Professor Crawford and Professor Fencer, the chairperson of Vhembe Biosphere Reserve, Dr. Mugwebi, and of course colleagues online and distinguished persons that are going to bless us with their presentation in this session. They would all agree with me that celebrations offer us opportunity, not just for the dance and the beautiful national anthem singing, but also for the reflections, for the feedback, for the milestones. How have we done? How might we do better? And so, other than that, I love singing and dancing and the celebrations with food and everything else in between. I'm sure as the University of Vhembe, we are privileged, as everybody who will speak after me will say, that we sit located in the middle of the biosphere. Located not just as a university, a white elephant, an ivory tower, but also an engaged university, a placemaker. And so opportunities such as this offer us the platform to do just what we claim to do, which is to interact meaningfully with our stakeholders, with our key partners, with our students, with our community members, with everyone else who respects and honor humanity, because, as you would all know, Vhembe and all other biosphere reserves are, by their nature, about engagement, about interacting and asking ourselves, in this period where there are so many threats to the environment, how might I, as a professor in environmental studies or ecology, environmental ecology or ecosystem health, whatever the case may be, how might I, as a student in whatever discipline, contribute to preserve, to nature, and to make sure that whatever we do today in an ecosystemic way and its education general are about to society, are about nature, and caring about the future of our kids and those who are yet to come. When we here, it's like that. So ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to therefore the respect of the Vice Chancellor, the Chancellor, and then the Vice Chancellor, to this session. It is your session. The restrooms are outside to your right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor National, for the opening and welcome. Colleagues, we are mindful of the fact that it was made very explicit in the invitation that this event is about Univen and Vhembe Biosphere Unesco Mab and Biosphere 50th anniversary celebration. But despite the fact that that has been made clear, we still consider it necessary to include an item on the purpose of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, just note, let me invite to the such chair by the executive Professor Stanford. So let's welcome Professor to the podium.
So it's my time. Thank you, Chair, and thank you for this opportunity. Just as a coincidence, I also turned 50 this year, and it's a big feeling. So if you turn 50, you realize that less time left So you realize, I think, maybe some of us might reach 100, but I'm sure I won't make it far. So basically, when you get 50, you also start asking yourself, what kind of legacy will you leave behind? And I think UNESCO has left us a real legacy of this concept of concept. Basically tries to deal with what we refer to as a wicked problem. A wicked problem is something, there's no right or wrong. So, for example, I'm a scientist. In maths, there is a but with wicked problems, there are generally no correct answer. It's open to opinion. A lot of people, think this is the solution to the problem. There's a whole lot of health. These are all wicked problems, and everyone, if I ask each one of you how that problem should be solved, you will give me a different answer. And the biosphere concept actually is kind of, and that's probably this big legacy that's left behind by UNESCO, is that it gives us a contextual framework and a conceptual framework within which to work, which we can deal with another wicked problem. And that wicked problem is sustainability. But actually, if you think about it, it deals not just with sustainability, because the Biosphere Reserve is not just about conservation. And I think conservation has picked up a very bad flag, because what we did previously is we had our conservation areas here, and we divorced that from the population. So what Biosphere Reserve Council wants to try and bring that together, and not just deal with conservation and sustainability, but also deal with poverty, deal with health, deal with education. So I think one of the purposes of this whole event here is to really educate people. And so this is the great thing about the Biosphere Reserve, the concept of the Biosphere Reserve. And because it tries to marry these two aspects, and there's no real good answer. So you can't be right and you can't be wrong. But there are bad ways to deal with this, and there are good ways to deal with it. And that's where the University of Vhembe comes from. As Professor Ndako mentioned, we're right in the middle of the Biosphere Reserve. There's few other Biosphere Reserves that has that is so unique. I think so Bosch's one, and there's the world that actually has got a university inside it. And so one of the other kind of aims of the Biosphere Reserve is to say, we try to deal with experiment. We want to do experiments. We don't really know the answers. And so what we're doing is, we're setting up these experiments, these ideas, these interventions. And we want to monitor them. It's little experiments that we do. And at a university, the university by its definition, is driven by these kind of questions, these open-ended questions. And that's why I think strategically, the Vhembe Biosphere Reserve, and the committee realizes that that's got an enormously important strategic partner here. I think it was mentioned in the review how important this kind of university is for the VDR going forward. And I don't think the University of India realized that day. They realized it now eventually, is how critical component of the university will be of the VDR going forward. So what's interesting also is that I see that the VDR was launched in August 2011. So the VDR is now 10 years old, so it's a teenager. And like all teenagers, these guys are in problems. We know, for example, that farmers in the Lugu region have to spray more and more pesticides to control their insect pests. We know that the Lugu River which is a perennial river that flows throughout the year. Certain sections of the Lugu River doesn't flow for certain parts of the year. So there are some real issues about how we manage our resources. But I think the mechanisms and the framework that we put in place is thanks to UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, and I think we've set up this collaboration. We provide for some meaningful and interesting questions about how do we go forward in developing this region in a sustainable way. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Ford. And as we are proceeding with our program, I would like to request from the line to give me a signal when our guest is ready to deliver his address. So I would like to now invite the VBI coordinator, Mr. Togerai Mangoni, to come and render his items. So let's welcome him to the podium.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I think most people here, they know me, or they've heard about me, or you've seen emails, especially when stuff. Professor Fraser, first time he had said, please, can I do another presentation? The Univen stuff. Dr. Zaga will mention this theory, same thing every day. I'm always present because I want things to work. Today I came and then the second was working vice chancellor. And then I told myself that if I go there, my banners won't appear in the picture. So I think most of you saw me running around trying to make sure that everything at least is working. So I'm going to talk about, before I go there, my name is Vhembe Biosphere. I'm the coordinator for the Vhembe Biosphere. This is the same, just being an experience. It's an experience that's nothing will give me this experience. No amount of teaching will give me this experience that I have. And I'm very happy that I was given the opportunity. So, the reason why today I say conserving, connecting, and capacitating. That's the motto that we're trying to implement or to move as a biosphere. And then I will elaborate number one. So, if it was a normal celebration, you see, this is my team. These are young people that I work with the Vibrant Youth Network. If they were here and then every time we say we're celebrating, by now we're playing my cards, the red card, the song, because it's a celebration. But then in the room, what I want you to understand is that I give my talk, I'm more happy because I'm that child who's 21. Then your grandmother stands up and says, when you're 2 years old, you did this. When you're 10 years old, you did this. So I'm hoping that through this presentation is going to lay a foundation for everyone to really understand what are we here for and what is it that we're celebrating. I don't want to do presentations where I just talk, inviting people, please areas like this, please participate. And yesterday I was thinking I want to do the same, and I said, no, I need to show people what is being done. Because we started about 10 years, which means that we are more than 10 years old. Otherwise, it's being done. Little steps, when you see that impact that we've done, it has been huge. So today I was showcasing the role of the biosphere in promoting innovative approaches to economic development that are social, culturally appropriate, and environmental sustainable. How we want the media people to capture this, what I have, unfortunately it's not yet appearing, to capture this, what I'm saying right now, that this is what we are here for. The biosphere is not about nature only. That's a mistake. So next time we invest, I don't want to see proposals. I don't want to see anyone from School of Environmental Science or faculty. I want somebody from IKS leading this. Because it's about the people. The thing for this series is about life. That's what the vice you are. They're not about nation conservation. No. If you read that statement saying what approach economic development that are socially and culturally appropriate and environmentally sustainable. That's what Prof was saying that focus. The moment you don't address those kind of things which are impacting our people, then we are not going anywhere. So now, this video is so that's the video that I want to show. Professor Taylor, remember sometimes it failed last time I wanted to. I would say the university that that's what you can use to talk about us. Everything about the biosphere now is about partnerships. How do we come together to solve a solution? It's not about me alone. It's about every stakeholder that we have here. I would like to acknowledge we've got dispatch chair, we've got PWK recycling, we've got colleagues from tourism, colleagues from the tech who are amongst us. All those are partners in order for us to achieve what we are talking about here. So moving forward with my presentation, the challenge is with the presentation is I thought maybe our guest speaker from UNESCO was going to give a presentation first, then I'll come in after him. But unfortunately, he's going to come after her. But I'm just going to touch a little bit about what the biosphere is all about. It's about conservation, it's about sustainable development, as well as mitigation in climate change. These are things that we're always talking about. But then these little things, conservation, sustainable development, as well as research, they work hand in hand. You can't have conservation if you don't have research. You cannot develop for people without taking care of the environment, without doing research. So that's why today we are here to go to the universal agenda. You form a key part company of three functions that UNESCO wants to see. So that's the way we're here. Anything that happens, we form climate change research activities. We're talking about IKS, the role of indigenous medicinal plants, indigenous forests, and climate protection. We want IKS to go here. Rural development, over programs, over some programs that we're running within the floor. So you see that the university action, this is the best place to house this body. This is the best place. I'm very angry every time people talk about research. They don't fully mention the name. It's such biodiversity, value change in the Vhembe Biosphere sector. The line problem. It says in the Vhembe Biosphere sector. You can't mention such. It is there both of the biosphere. So those are some of the recognitions that I just want to highlight. And then this map, it shows the impacts that we have done. I could not put in all the dots in terms of what we have done, but all the places that you see is areas of places that we have engaged in. The first time we started working with the Rami, she started the case and she didn't know anything about the district. But now she knows, oh, Jaka, Vhembe Biosphere, we've been there, all those areas. So it's us talking to communities, also working with partners. I want to emphasize, they've been very municipalities, all the municipalities, they've been very much supportive with the idea. But how do we also get the university to fully support this idea? Not only as in today, but the next meeting that we have celebrating such a day, we want this to be held in Tachibon, we want it to be held in Sina, where we take all the vice chancellors and everyone going out there to the community to show that the university is here to support you and everything. So we're looking at the 10-year period review. the University of Vhembe contributed nearly 60% of the information that was sent to UNESCO, things that have been over the past 10 years. And this was very, very important. You named some of the researchers who are here. They are there at UNESCO. People, they always sometimes refer to us to say, our 10-year review was very much centered on research in terms of what we do. And we pride ourselves because of that. Also, we have a strategic environmental management plan. This is still work in progress. It's a working document which will best all the people who are here contribute to this work. And then the other thing that we're very proud of is the Limpopo Conservation Plan, where we're looking at the critical biodiversity areas. And the research from the researchers here at Univen contributed to a plan for the Limpopo province. So they, when the government was ready, they went with the biosphere. So this is the same thing we want to do when we talk about IKSB, intellectual property. You understand that the biosphere is not on us, it's the researchers here. How can they come in and contribute to IKSB? How do they come in and contribute to a health practice? But through the biosphere, the well-known brand or entity which they support such kind of thing. And then also we have the Vhembe District Environmental Management Platform. This is a forum which the next forum I'm going to try. Mr. Milwall is here. We want to try and get 2 or 3 researchers from Univen to be part of this forum. How can we have a Vhembe District Environmental Management Forum? We need to feed off this. This is where the research office for students, grant writing application also comes from. So these are some of the areas where we have been actively engaging and hope that to take on the investors work. And then talking about the stewardship program, being done by EWT, Medicare, getting all the people out of the surplus accounts, purchasing that into a conservancy. And not also to mention leave our land claims. So as part of our what we call demonstration projects, colleagues here, I'm just trying to show you what we have tried, to make sure that we reach out to those disabled communities. How do we reach communities and talk to them? We have got the Biosphere Foundation talking about grading schools. We have funded them before they go into schools, lecture for guidance, something that we invest in. Also, we are doing partner. And then we've got in Broadway as well, we funded some ringside cleaners, Nombela gardens, ecology, recycling a lot of it, tomato, young people who are into this forestation, reforestation. And then also the power of guidance. They were also funded, I think it was the first one to be funded by the developers. They sponsor women to take over our trees. When you read the story of the lady, she was studying a master's, I think it was a master's PhD. Then from then on, through that, that's when she realized the importance. Now she exports baobab powder. What you see every day, she extracts oils, powders, skin, and then she was actually showing this other project, even beer being made from that. She's exporting that. That's an example of the demonstration project. How science can assist a community, and then she funds and supports women to take care of our trees in the area. So those are some of the initiatives that we hope that we can continue. We also have what we call the World Parks World Cup. This is an organization based around Brandon Talent. What they do what we call purposeful learning, where they take kids, they teach them conservation through sports. We have a department of genetics here. These are some of the initiatives that we really want to partner with. So they go to Mozambique because they are located at the edge of Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. So they cross the border, they go to Mozambique, learn with other kids there. So it's a program which is well running and then which we are proud of as well. So looking at collaborative partnerships. In this case here, with the Greater Kruger Strategic Program, this program is very important. I know Prof. Francis, Prof. Sevan, Prof. Taylor, they also contributed to this. And then also we have the Global Environmental Facility. These are funded programs. People who are coming into the landscape. Right now, the South African Wildlife College, we are working with them in order to teach communities who are staying around the park to see how can we impart knowledge to these communities, how do they sustain themselves. And then also, the one that I'm really proud of is the CRIDA program, which is climate risk adaptation. We are honorable with climate change, but what are communities doing? So through a funding from the Flanders government, we have managed to accept some funding, and then I issued out, I sent an email to some of the lecturers, and they were interested in the program, about 3 of them. We're going to partake in this program with UNESCO, and then see how we can move forward. Also, with the SADC TSA through Prof. Dam, we also managed to submit a funding proposal for some sustainable development projects around. So these are very, very important issues which we are proud of, achievements that we've done. Some of them are work in progress, but we're going in the right direction. And then a lot of people, they usually talk about young people, involving young people. It's a word that is used, but nobody applies it. I want to be honest with you. I've attended meetings in Italy for advisors this, I've attended meetings in Kenya, and then just end there. You are just brought in like today and end there. But then what we saw through that, we realized that we were trying to African Wildlife Foundation, expertise France. We were the first in the whole Africa to invite young people to come in Chile to host an African Youth Biodiversity Network. And then from then on, to get back to our own, Vhembe Biosphere Youth Network. So far, we was young person come say this will come and give a presentation. But what are some of the initiatives that young people are doing? That's just young people are very easy to please. All they want to do, they want questions, they want action. If we talk and then we don't give them anything, so what they want to do, what we do with them, they go out to schools, community engagement communities, they identify communities which we need. This is a very call for one young person says, we want to clean up the river, people are dumping diapers, pampers in the river. Please help us, bring your young people to get together and do. So young people, they're active, they want things to do, but then this is what we need to say, put young people in the forefront, give them also the mandate to work, and they're proud that this is something that they've actually done. So, I promised my colleague, Mr. Marante from Tourism, sorry, that I'm going to also talk about self-contact conservation areas. So, we haven't given any for nearly jewel that we have on the local instance. We are located, the Vhembe Biosphere is part of the GHSA. We are part of this network of South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. So if you're talking about a human wildlife conflict, research has been conducted in Mozambique and Gonarezhou National Park and assess, through the biosphere, we can facilitate that because we sit in this management community. That sits in this management community, we can facilitate that our research also starts becoming meaningful and impactful to the region. So this is just a map which shows where we are, and you see that we are growing biosphere to transfrontier conservation areas. So we should really use that into good use, put that into good use. There's a lot of food and mouth disease happening. Ketchup is crossing into Makungu, from Zimbabwe. Those are issues that we need to as researchers, also how we need to define, how can we direct research, what is the cause, and how can we also try to mitigate. So tourism is one issue. We have the Department of Tourism again. I think 3 weeks ago, Mark was invited by the mayor to give a talk on tourism. The Biosphere, I also know that the Biosphere, there are 700 days now in the whole world. So, because you don't know about the Biosphere, but the tourists coming here, they are coming from the Biosphere. You understand? So you're marketing to us, and there's potential that all the people who are coming to say, we are coming to the Vhembe Biosphere. You find that they will just want to know what is this thing called the Biosphere. So instead of going to one another, they say, okay, let's go to this thing called the Biosphere. Because we come from the Biosphere in Australia. Let's just also go about and see what is this thing about. So it's also an avenue that we have started pursuing, and a lot of young people, there's a lot of potential for domestic tourism. Due to COVID, a lot of young people are going hiking and all those things. So we're also working with EWT, there's some trails that they're doing up the Sopans there, but we also need people around here. There's very few pockets, I don't know if they've arrived yesterday. They're doing magnificent work, which I feel that a lot of researchers can help them because they're trying to make the route of the model routes, the model routes that they're doing. It's very, very interesting. People are coming from abroad just to see them, and we have also supported that organization. So, what I want to finish off by saying is that the Biosphere has been in existence since 2009, when it was declared by UNESCO. There's a lot that has happened, and most of the things that have happened was through partnerships. So it is very, very important for us. These are just some of the pictures I wanted to show, to highlight where we go. We are not in the office, we are down there with the people. Everyone always asks me, there's a question that 90% of you in the room, what is the Biosphere? You don't know what is the Biosphere. Even me and council, it's not what is the Biosphere. But how do I tell people what is the Biosphere? The Biosphere, I don't care if Professor Richard asks the Biosphere, it also has to research. and then I go to the PWK, say vice chair, it helps us by giving us money for our projects. I go to the young people, they say vice chairs, they help us in training. You understand? What we're saying is that the vice chair is a vehicle for transformation. You just have to find the seeds. You don't have to know about conservation. You don't have to know about research. But if you feel that for me they can help me in order to train young people in skills entrepreneurship, that's it. That's enough. If you're a musician, there are also some main competitions that are offered by UNESCO in terms of music and generation. You can do that. Crafts, arts and culture, we are there. So just find your seat in the varsity movement. That's my passion message that I say that as a vice, we always say, find your seats. Then we continue to get, we take you where you want to go. You don't necessarily know about the species, make that a profit. You know about genetics and everything, but you find your space, your role, this role will be your passion. Then we move to with that guy. Without wasting much time, partnerships. Every time people come to me asking for money, I will say, no, we don't have money, but we know people with money. All these organizations, about 20 of them that I highlighted, some of them do not have money. We are broke. You understand? There's a lot of money. But we know the doors are going on because we have good partners that we're working. So partners, and networking, that's what has brought the Biosphere to where it is nowadays. We were able to engage, even coming to this day being successful. It's about partnerships, studying the MOU, and we're making action plan. No society will ever make it to conserve or protect what is the state. So community awareness is very, very important. We are going to go in with the Mr. Mab, telling people about this GSCS. What is transformative conservation? People are staying in this beautiful landscape, but they don't know. And those are the things that we do with Mr. Nebo, going out to communities, just educate them, and then they'll form part of it. So, that's my final statement. The Vhembe Biosphere, this is more than an issue. We're a partner and a portal for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Larry, for reminding us that we all have the seats in the bus, despite our study area. So we are actually going to take advantage of that opportunity. So before we proceed to the next item, I would like to Mr. give us an item. much, Mr. Fire. Colleagues, in this address, Tonderai indicated that it is practically possible for us to separate conservation from research. And it is for this reason that we consider it necessary to make provision for our research and postgraduate studies division participate in the program. So on this note, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite to the podium our GBC Research and Postgraduate Studies Professor Moses Present to come and deliver an address. So let us come here to the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, Program Director, Dr. Zaka, I would like first to appreciate my Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ndabeleni. I would also like to recognize my colleague, Professor Crawford, the DMC teaching and I would also like to recognize our colleague, Dr. Mbwali, our chairperson for BBR board. I would also like to appreciate the Tenderai for the education, because that's what I call just an education, teaching us, taking us through, reminding us, positioning us, and telling us where we belong and what we are supposed to do and aspire to do. I'm not going to be long, colleagues, and I would like to appreciate all the colleagues that have honored us and our chair, our study chair, my Professor Ford. Thank you also for reminding us that as much as we look at the biosphere the way we do, you did indicate the separation, but it's not supposed to be like that, as you indicated. It cannot be separated from who we are. We have to be part of it. We belong to it. It belongs to us. So thank you for indicating that. But we also need to recognize the journey we have traveled. Because I think we are here today celebrating the journey. And the journey is never smooth. The journey has some stones, some mountains, some slopes, where you find yourself falling, but then because you are supreme, you are human, you need to stand up and then do something. I would like to appreciate also the choir, because they still, I don't know what's happening to you. I love music, so I was at home. And as I was sitting there, I thought, why do I need to stand up after them? I'm supposed to join them actually and sing. But then, you know, when you are in a space, you don't want to do strange things. Then I was sitting there and feeling proud. I'm sitting here, but I'm yeah. I really appreciate what you have done. What music does to us Africans, it makes us live during very difficult times. It revives us when we cry. It also makes us enjoy and celebrate as we are doing today. But it also makes us remember who we are. And it's one of the therapeutic things that we've been blessed with. And therefore, I'm so happy with young people and the way they are enjoying their music and all of that. You can, even if you don't understand the language, the way they are presenting it, you can begin to understand the music, what it is saying. So thank you very much. Let me not waste your time. My role here is very small because Prof. Francis is going to take us into the things. But it's to really give an overview of what we've done. So I want to talk about the lifespan of what we've done and how did we approach it. I believe that we are the part of the biosphere. It's just that we humans are supreme. And therefore, because we are supreme, we have a role to preserve, consume economically for sustainable and accountability in general to life. There is an African understanding that when you are in the sea or in the river and you are fishing, you take what you are going to consume and you return back to the water, everything else, so that there could be an opportunity for productivity and we can have more fish for the future generations. And I think that's what we are talking about today. Is to say, yes, we can use, but we must stop being greedy. We need to think about what we are leaving behind. The whole country is too hot currently. The whole country is horrible, it's unbearable. There's no place to hide. You can take your car and say, I'm going to Cape Town. It's the same story. Why? What have we done to our ecosystem? So I think we are here today to say we need to be responsible and accountable as the supreme above the animals. So whatever we are doing, whatever I am doing, I need to understand that I need to leave a legacy. I'm not just talking about legacy, a legacy of poverty. That's not the legacy we must plan for. I need to know that no one will spit in my grave. But as they see my grave, they will smile and say, because of her, we have managed to be where we are today. We are no longer suffering, but we are surviving and also creating legacy. So it starts today, it starts with all of us. I also believe that at Univen, what we did, we were forced actually to come from our comfort zone as university where we had niche areas and focus on our niches, but to be interdisciplinary. Because the situation and the space we found ourselves as early as 2008 was whereby there was a need for us to face the problems at the university and bring solutions and explore the gaps so that even those who are coming after the others to do research can be able to do that. So as Univen, we started as early as 2008 in getting into this space. Hence, we are a little bit older, but still teenagers. But because we are a university is a place where creation of knowledge is done, but also a place where human challenges need to be looked at and find solutions. Hence, therefore, in 2008, we have our postgraduate students who were going out there into the biosphere to find solutions. And then in 2010, we started saying, no, it's not enough. We need, therefore, to have a community university program. Because we realized that as sitting in the university and doing this research, we are not making any progress. We need the communities because of two things. We identified that the communities have knowledge. And remember, our communities and their knowledge, that knowledge has never been shared before. Sometimes it's not even documented. So somebody needed to go out there, that's why we talk about IKS, and get that knowledge from the bearers of knowledge who are our mothers and fathers. And that was done in 2010 by the University of Vhembe. From there then, organic growth started happening. Initiatives started emerging. Research projects started coming to light, and innovation that we have heard about today started coming out. But I think we are also on our way to commercialization. Because immediately you become innovative, then that is a product that needs to be sold. And all that started when we started engaging with the communities through the Community University Partnership Program. Then in 2012 and 2013, we had a responsibility now. And we called this responsibility cleaning people's minds to trigger sustainable, responsible action. Remember, I did speak about greed, because greed is what has destroyed the world. Whereby you want everything for yourself, no one else. And then when you take it all, you make sure when you take your garbage, you take it to the poor who have nothing, and you put it there so that they will never grow. But we realized then that it is time to clean the minds, because we know we are supreme because of the mind. Mindset shift. That means now I am going to be responsible, but at the same time I'm going to account. If you cannot start by accounting to yourself, you can't account to our biosphere. You can't account to our communities. You have to be accountable to yourself. That means you have to be ethical. And that's when we started now as the university to clean the mind. And we started having partnerships for economic policy. Because now we had to clean the mind, but at the same time we had to regulate what we were engaging with. Then in 2016, 17, and 2018, we started now working. We started looking at rural sanitation, because that's where we are. And we needed to have an understanding and then improve lives, because research is about improving lives. And we started having capacity development and monitoring and mentorship of SCB OP7 grantees in the Biosphere Reserve. We started working on water security and social hydrological resilience for rural small-scale crop value chain. We started working with the villages. We had a village chicken and indigenous knowledge system, because now it has time to work. So as you indicated, the history of the biosphere, we were also growing with it. We were also developing, we were also going deeper, because we realized that we all belong together. We are just one, but we don't understand. And then 2019 and currently, we had to go broader and deeper again. We looked at opportunities to improve operations of smallholder canal schemes in the Vhembe district. And then we also have citizen-driven rural community development in traditional authorities. And we also appointed our own innovation champions for local economic growth. This is how we have grown as the University of Vhembe, within recognizing that we are no longer ivory towers, as it was mentioned, but we belong. And when you belong with the people and at the biosphere, you need to live like that. That is how we function as the university with our research. Prof. Francis will go further and further, engaging now, giving more details. My role was to give the overview. I thank you.
you so much, Professor Feza, for such a wonderful address. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are proceeding with the program, let me take this opportunity to invite the program director for Institute for Rural Development, Professor Joseph Francis. Let's welcome Professor Francis.
Colleagues, good morning. I normally do not open my mouth when people are quiet. When I was coming up here, you were clapping and I said, oh, these people at least they know me very well. Now we are stopped. I wonder why. So whilst I'm sorting out myself, I think let's continue to be smiling whilst we are looking at the person next to you. If you are not sitting next to anyone, smile at the chair. So colleagues, my presentation today, 2 days ago, I found an email dropped in my inbox indicating that I was on the program today. And then I asked myself, they are talking about rural development in the biosphere. And when I looked at that, I said, they are not talking about the Institute for Rural Development. They are talking about rural development in the biosphere. And I wondered. Then I said to myself, if they are looking for rural development in the biosphere, I'm not the right person. I'm only going to talk about what we do in the Institute for Rural Development. I think before I proceed, I just want to find out how many of you here know me. Just raise your hand. I want to see how many of you know me. I find it very odd because when I was coming here, the program director introduced me. And now I'm finding that there are some people who don't know me, so you've already forgotten. So if you are going to forget everything else, but please listen as much as you can to understand what we do. So colleagues, before I go very far, development is about people. So the biosphere is about people. We can talk about anything else that you find in the biosphere reserve, but whatever we are doing it because we want to improve the quality of life. Now, we are talking about people, and when we talk about people, it's development. And in these areas which fall under the biosphere reserve, there are people of different classes. There's poverty, there's inequality, which tells us that we've got a transformation agenda. Now, if you have a transformation agenda, you can't drive development without thinking about alleviating poverty. So you have to figure out now how do I have a balance of the alleviation activities and also the development, because development does not happen overnight, it takes time. Now we also need to think about governance issues. Governance issues, that time when you cry about corruption and talking about this person is house of man, it's not the legal language.
He needs right to share.
When you go and start blocking a road and say there's no development in our area, it is within this place, you are showing concern for improvement of the quality of life. But what we might disagree with is the method that we are using. We also talk about issues related to investment, attraction, retention, and expansion of that investment. Issues related to infrastructure development, education and skills. Now, we are meeting today because Univen is trying to reimagine itself. If we didn't want to, if you read what Tony was saying, and I was listening very carefully to you, President, you are talking. What we are saying is that Univen is trying to reimagine itself so that it becomes even more relevant than it is at the moment. So so that it can actually amplify the impact that we have at the moment. Now, for that reimagining to happen, it means that we need to be innovative. And now, when you talk about innovation, please don't just look at Professor Magara right now. Because once you say innovation, people start seeing the fourth industrial revolution. What I'm talking about here is being creative, being something different from what we normally do, and with the intention of achieving a positive result out of what we're doing. So, again, I know I have not yet presented what I want to share here, but something that will really make me smile. And even when the Lord decided to promote me and say, come, I want to have you by my side permanently. If we are able to say, you know, beyond today, we proceed to build on the things that we've already done, or that we are already doing, come together, mobilize people and other resources, and also convert that MOU that we have into an operational plan, and with people who are actually driving that agenda. And from time to time, we can be talking about how we are influencing. And Dr. Martin is not here. He talks about this, you know, integrated, you know, entrepreneurship, you know, innovation and biodiversity plan. The things that we're talking about today, they sit nicely in terms of, you know, actualizing that. So colleagues, you are wondering now, Institute for Rural Development, you are making a lot of noise. What is it that we are doing? When I ask now, how many of you know me? I know you know me very well. We are friends in the trenches. Where's World? Yes, some of the things that I'm going to be saying, if they are alive, please, you know, say it. Because these are some of the things that we've been talking about, but because probably there's no strong connection between publications and the work that happens on the ground, very few people listen to us. So today, I'm happy that at least because some of the people on the ground, yes, publications will come. Remember at the beginning, I said development is about people. So if I'm in the Institute for Rural Development and I just chase publications all the time, if I look at the work that we've been doing right now, if we sit down and write, I don't know how many publications we'll write. We'll write until we drop dead. But that is not the issue. We'll write in order to make sure that we live up to the expectation of the university. But of primary essence is what difference are we making in society. Now, this is why I'm saying here, I'm going to share with you very briefly at the beginning, so that you understand the context of our programming. The first thing is that as an Institute for Rural Development, this context is important for you to understand what we do. You know, our vision, which was adopted in 2012, when our strategic plan of the Institute was adopted. We started talking about the engaged scholarship before the university. So what we are talking about right now, the university leading in engaged scholarship, this is a journey that we have been for a long time, for as long as we have been in the Institute for Rural Development. So it's a leading university-based player. So in this case, we are not here to compete with NGOs and others, but we are saying that within the context of what a university is expected to do, our vision as an Institute for Rural Development is a leading university-based player in engaged scholarship with respect to combating rural underdevelopment. That's our clear focus. Now, how do we go about it? We know our activities, as you shall see, focus on building relevant, dynamic, and gender-sensitive institutions. You see even from our approaches. Now, we also we value, we respect, and facilitate the involvement of children. Underline that, involvement of children, youth, and adults in grassroots communities, because this institute belongs to that group of people. In yielding solutions to societal issues. Also, in the process, our drive is towards producing change agents or social innovators from our pool of graduates and grassroots community members. And that one of the key things to be, these should be products of integrity. In our slogan, if you find the vehicles that we drive, lie on the side. We are always talking about taking the university's rightful owners. So that is our responsibility as a ministry for rural development. Now, in terms of the operationalization, what we've been doing now, and I then give you the specifics. We have got strategic implementation sites, and although for quite some time we've not been formalizing our relationship, we've just been working. We've now embarked on a consolidation effort where we are now saying that now that we know how to work with each other, let's now formalize our relationship. So, Vice Chancellor, when you see a flurry of MOUs coming your way from our side, please understand it within this project. We are simply consolidating the things that we've been doing since 2007 when I joined the ministry. Now, then our approach is also around working with traditional authorities and the municipalities. Now, you might be questioning now, we are coming from Vhembe Film Office. But the fact that we are in Shauru and it's under the Mpapule Traditional Authority has our space of operation. So it's about co-generation and implementation of the development agenda. It's not about us coming up with the agenda and saying, here it is. What if it's big when we are looking forward? So it's about negotiation and coming up with what to do. And then also building on past and current gains or experiences. And in this regard, I want to highlight the fact that over the years, our drive has been around amplifying community voices and embracing the whole concept of local economic development, not just about business, but in its entirety. Professor Crawford, you are aware about the Amplifying Community Voice Student Association. If not for COVID, we'll be talking about something else in terms of, this is now a student body that came out of our work and is recognized, by the university as a bona fide student body. Now, again, transdisciplinarity. Now, where in our teams we've got academics, masters, and doctoral students, being the team that is coming out of the university to take the university's rightful honors. And on site, we are now emphasizing partnership with traditional councils. But within those areas, we are also saying that there is a critical resource, retired professionals, who rarely are thought about by people. If I retire now and I get into my career, some people just forget about me, and all I can do is wake up in the morning, either visit the next tavern, or I pick my newspaper and I'm reading, or whatever. So we're saying retired professionals are a resource that we must bring closer to us so that they can help us to reskill what we have always been calling unemployed graduates. In our work now, those unemployed graduates, they are saying, no, call us uncommitted, graduates. Because if you say unemployed, it means when you're coming here, you're coming to give me a job. So that is not what we're doing. So and any other paraprofessionals in those areas. Now, partnership strengthening and also joint setting, I think I've already talked about. And this is something that is of very significant importance for us. From 2017 to 2019, we ran a project which was funded by the National Research Foundation. And that project was focusing on building, transforming postgraduate studies, and by infusing internationalization principles and other philosophies into the postgraduate component. And for that work, we are talking about, we went a step further, through that work we developed what we are now calling a model on how to place our students in households, not for them to go and stay in a lodge, but for us to deploy our students to get into households so that they, when we talk about people, culture, and the environment, they actually learn by doing whilst they are placed there. We have that one. Again, COVID was very jealous of what we're doing. We were intending to start rolling that one out in 2020. Maybe by now we have a lot of lessons. And then also including traveling seminars where we are talking about us moving from one point to another, maybe from one traditional authority to another, focusing on a particular issue, or from one university to another. Thankfully, now we have got our virtual platforms where we can still do this virtually. and we are going to be trying to see what we can do in the coming year. Now, well, these are some of the steps that we have. I don't have to go very much into them, but I always want to highlight bullet number 3 to say that a lot of the work that we have been done, maybe because we did not have a lot of resources. It was like this child who does not have a lot of resources, and you find yourself wanting to go out there and hunt for resources. So the bulk of the work that we have been doing is funded by external bodies and with the seed money from the university. I'm not going to go very much into this because I know time might be an issue. But let me go into, I've already spoken about the Amplifying Community Voices project, program, which we started running in 2006, and thankfully we secured funding from the Federal Foundation for 2 years. And that funding was simply for social facilitation, and we worked in 5 municipal wards. And we're working also very closely with traditional authorities. And along the way, we discovered that if we really want to have sustainable interventions, the best is, local community structure to work with the traditional authorities. If we work with the municipal, councillors and others, after 5 years they get replaced and you have to reorient the new ones who are coming in. But if you work with traditional authorities and the new councillors come in, they find the train already moving because they are one of the stakeholders. I won't talk about that. Then the cleaning people's minds to trigger sustainable responsible protection. I just want to get Professor Toysa talked about it briefly. The intention around this, Professor Crawford, you did not even know, 25 October 2017, was it 2018, when we took you to the cover, and there was Senate here. That was our political decision as a project to say, today there's a decision-making board of the university sitting here. We want to bring people from, so we're almost 800 people, in the upper around this area. And we're saying that what we want to do here, we want to find out where the senators are going to be asking what was happening on the upper. Because I realized that if I do it alone, that voice will not be heard. But if I bring you in there as a GVC, because at that time we were acting DC. Yeah. So in the car park, we brought the mayor of Tulamela and the whole mayor or whatever, they all came here. The whole idea was to show. The idea here, we are talking about Univen becoming, contributing to the tutorial as a university town. That was our contribution to say, if we change the way people think, we will not sit there on the ground. So that was the message, even the posters, whatever that we have, the now behavior that was taking place here. It was not just indiscipline, it was a calculated move to see maybe there might be a thing. So we came from here all the way into town, cleaning the whole town, ended up in the town hall, where the mayor, after having been part of the whole thing, came in now. And we were now discussing a topic different from cleaning. But the idea is about, even when you talk about GPD, it's not about anything, it's about changing the way we think. What is our attitude, what are our behaviors and so forth. So that cleaning people's minds is not just about cleaning the ground, it's about cleaning the way we think and what we need to contribute to our development. Number 7 is about rural sanitation. In the same year, we also had, I think, when we were, I don't know whether you were there, but the guys from water and sanitation, when we had a big function in Minga, in the Minga area, actually under, in partnership with the Vhembe Biosphere River Forum. And we're talking about more than 2,000 people who convened and bringing people from far and wide, from national office, province, and so forth, to just talk about, rural sanitation. And, as far as I still recall, if you look at the fact that it was rural communities who funded the whole thing, all we did was for us to get transport from here, but everything else was handled by rural communities. The message we were trying to send also was that rural communities are not just recipients of our donations. They have their own way of mobilizing themselves as long as they identify with what we are doing. So this was the event, and we took the university to Minga. So when you talk about taking the university to this right to honors, that's one of the things. let me not go any further and disappear into the forest. Now, these three that are highlighted here are very key initiatives. Again, I'm happy that Omar is here because we are running this program together with the local economic development office of Vhembe district municipality. And this has been happening since 2019. And I'm happy to say we, at the moment, the Department of Science and Innovation, which is funding the program via TIA, is now seeing it fit to extend the program by maybe another 24 months or 24 months to 30 months to do what we are doing. There's no way you can have an extension of this program if the fund is not there. So, and I would like to also highlight that this is the only national pilot project after the adoption of the new framework for local economic development in 2018. So the fact that we got this project here is an admission that there's something that we are doing well for us to be the only national pilot project. Now we are being challenged that we need to go and assist Professor, the university you left. They want us now to go there, this team from here, to go to Walter Sisulu University and assist your teaching of, on how to embed this type of work in all other campuses. And again, that shows us that in terms of influence, it's no longer just them as we have been saying here. We are acting locally, but our tentacles are now expanding beyond where we are. And I want also to end with the next one, which is your capacity development, monitoring and mentorship of the SGP, that grantees. You are one of the recipients, the revenue office. I'm not so sure whether now you look at the likes of Maponi, he's the chairperson of the technical advisory group. Onoyora is part of the National Steering Committee. And the Institute for Rural Development, I remember there were times when people were asking us, why doing things that relate to environment? My answer is always been to say, if I am going to people who have got resources, and I'm telling them this is what I want to do, and they are giving me their resources, why are you questioning me, in terms of what I am doing? The same applies to the local economic development work. I mean, animal scientists are writing local economic development. It's about the people on the ground teaching us what needs to happen. All we do is facilitation. So this project is funded by it's a global environmental facility small grant program, where at the moment we are, I have 3 teams that are drawn from, and this is something that I was almost forgetting. In all our projects, we try by all means to get expertise from across the campus. We do not have a lot of staff in the hierarchy to be able to drive all this program. So in this case, you find that we will start from the Faculty of Science, Engineering and Agriculture, we will start from the management science, commerce and law. So in terms of transdisciplinarity, we are trying the best we can, but to a limited extent. Then the last one is this citizen-driven rural community development institutional approach. Now, I put it right at the end because over all this time, we realized that we worked in the Madonsi area, which is within the BPR. We worked in Jakarta, Masia, Sintumule. We also worked where, which one is managed up there. And now we found ourselves in the Shivase area. So we have 6 traditional authorities where we are saying as an institute, we would want to do about 75% of our work must be found in those areas so that we are able to check impact. Now, one of the things that we are doing at the moment is that we have already gone to, we had a workshop program you addressed us 29 to 30 September when we were at President. When we brought the senior traditional leaders, members of civic, women representatives, and youth from all these areas. If you look at the reach itself, the Shivase area is 77 villages. If you look at Madonsi is 18, Manenge is 10, Masia 16, Jakarta 12, Sintumule is 12. If you look at just where we are in terms of grounding ourselves, where young people are, and we have also said that the VBR, Makoni and his team are our strategic partner. They must carry
this message with us. We have also gone a step further to say, let's bring on board Mavu. Mavu is a sports development NGO, which at the moment is working in five provinces in the country. So we want them to bring those that are focusing on sports development, training coaches, identifying talent, and so forth. This is how we can catch young people, bring them in because they're interested in sport, and then we talk the language of development. We have also seen it fit to say this work that we are doing now, the innovation champions professor who you were talking about. Maybe the innovation champions might raise their heads. The time you might also be sick because you have never. Where are you seated? Yes, they claim to be innovation champions. Yet they are being developed. So the idea now is as part of this consolidation, each one of them is going to be placed in Musina local municipality. It calls it Shawan, Makado, Tulamela, Vhembe district, and one on campus. Now, the university said, if you look at your register, the Institute for Rural Development was given the responsibility of driving this anchor institution objective. And we realize now, because we are here, our impact must be felt most. So let's have these innovation champions. You know, we are sort of decentralizing the Institute for Rural Development. So you find even the traditional authorities are strategically identified. You know, Manenge is Musina. You come here to us as Tulamela. Madonsi and Masia is called Shawan. On the other side, Jagajaka and Sunkuno is Maka. So when they are there, those areas are only demonstration sites for the other traditional authorities. So if we are to talk about Vhembe as a region, we are acting locally within the municipality, but also having even bigger budget. So, colleagues, I think I've made a lot of noise for you. All I need to do is, what are our next areas of investment, expansion of the RG work beyond Vhembe? We are also saying that we have not done enough. We are now seeing that, you know, I was discussing with Dr. Martin the other day, I was saying, I want us to convert Univen to become another nodal area. In Vhembe, there are 21 nodal areas. But we must make Univen another nodal area for our noise on campus. So I'm only announcing it when the executive is here. When you see us making noise here, you know that they are in their games. Okay, so we want to claim our right to space, you know, place on campus, and then we want to formalize our partnerships, and then building sustainable networks of citizen-centered development. That's why the traditional leaders are coming in, and also strengthening our ability to drive participatory action research. And then the last part is also purpose. We want to aggressively disseminate what we are doing, because I don't think, and what that I have, you know, I've been going to him here and there. You know, I have not become the real mosquito, you know, for now. But I think I'm going to amplify my voice as the mosquito to see how can we amplify all this work that we are doing. I have no doubt that a lot of our colleagues here might be hearing what some of the things I'm saying today for the first time, and yet we are on campus. So the official launch of the IRP, because it has never been launched. Probably you remember we were discussing this. It has never been launched, and we want to make sure that we launch it. And we are thinking about February next year before we become too busy. This year was just about today in groundwork. Then also we want to, you know, we are launching what we are calling a structured deliberation program, which will be in the form of a mixed mode of how we interact with society, to share with what we are doing and also getting their inputs in the form of webinars, seminars, also having roadshows, you know, blogging, workshops, round tables, radio station mediated engagement. You might have already seen we've tested the ground. All that we've been doing now is to test, does it work? Now we've had interviews. Where's the limit? You recall I was putting you on the spot when we were in the president, and immediately you called, you called the reporter from Univen Radio, and they covered the event. Those are the mosquito tenders that I was talking about. Then we also want to use what we are calling theater for community action. Now, Aubrey, you know, is in the art gallery. I just realized, you saw him with his music here. I realized that bringing him closer to what we are doing, you help us through music to amplify, you know, the work that we are doing. We generate all these and yet songs. Already we've got 2 songs that we generated. This thing we might not have told you. One of the persons who awarded the honorary doctorate, Dr. Oko Betunkoro, we went after him because we said he's our ambassador. So he came and he was even prepared to do everything for free, but he said, no, he can't. He is the one who produced the 2 songs for us on local economic development. And we are planning to launch those 2 songs in February when we launch the IRD. And also, lastly, TIA and DSI, we were supposed to launch these 2 songs on the 26th of November. But they saw the bigger picture and they said, we want to be part of that process. So they want to bring, you know, if all goes well, they want to bring their senior people like either a DG or a DDG. The same applies to TIA, you know, that's DSI saying, you know, a DG or DDG. And also TIA, they want to bring their CEO here. COPTA, they might bring a DG responsible for, you know, like around this local economic development. And when that happens, it means that we now have all these other people, you know, like coming into the space. So TIA is also committed. They're meeting yesterday with the innovation champions in TIA. They've committed that they are going to actually have roadshows where TIA is going to come and have roadshows in all the 4 local municipalities to share the program that they have with the small, you know, SMMEs and other interested parties. I think at this point in time, let me stop here, lest I become a politician who cannot lay his own voice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Francis, for such a wonderful presentation. Colleagues, I have indicated at the beginning of our session that we have someone from UNESCO who will be delivering his address very shortly. And I have been informed that he is ready to deliver his presentation. And that will be on UNESCO Mab and Biosphere 50th celebration. And I'm sure we'll also be able to share with us the UNESCO Mab program. And let me check if you are there, Mr. Guy. Are you here?
Yes, moderator, can you hear me?
Mr. Guy?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much. I would like to give you the opportunity to deliver your address. So let's welcome Mr. Guy. Please give me a round of applause.
Thank you very much. I've shared my face. I don't know if you can see me. The advantage of being remote is that I don't have to wear a mask. But I would like to thank you first for the opportunity to present at this meeting and also accommodating me on the agenda. I know I was supposed to speak at another time slot, but thank you very much for accommodating me. I would like to apologize for not being there physically. I was in Waterberg Biosphere Reserve 2 weeks ago for a day, and then I was in K2C last week. And now that travel is a bit easier, I hope to join you all soon as well, but today I couldn't be there. And then I also wanted to recognize all the dignitaries and speakers. I missed the first part, so apologies, I do not have all the names, but I would like to recognize your presence and also thank you. I have a presentation that I would like to share, and it's a presentation I normally use for people who may be less familiar with biosphere reserves than you. So I will take the liberty of going fairly quickly and maybe share some personal thoughts of someone who has worked on Man and Biosphere for about 25 years, actually. Let me see if I can do that. There we are. I hope you can see my screen. Could someone confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you very much. So in the interest of time, let me just go ahead with the presentation. The Man in Biosphere program, I'm sure you've heard many of these things already from other speakers, but it's a scientific intergovernmental program. And we tend to say that word because it's always there. But in your environment, I'm sure you understand what that means, really. The member states of UNESCO 50 years ago asked us a question about society, a real serious problem. How can we reconcile conservation and human development? Which was an emergent question 50 years ago. And UNESCO was asked, can you address this scientifically? So from a science point of view, one of the things that came out of there was, why don't we experiment across the world in different places with what we can do? So, which is not different from what happened with COVID, for instance. People do experiments all over the world and they share what works, they share what doesn't work, and our knowledge advances. So that's the scientific approach. We create these places where we test sustainable development. In recent years, we have looked much more also at what it means for people. We are good at the science and good at doing scientific designs of models and so on, but we've traditionally never really worked as hard with what it means for people. And this statement comes from a group of about 50 biosphere reserves who try to compile a statement on what they feel, their feelings. What does the biosphere reserve that they live in inspires in them? And we found that the most common thought was it's about connecting people among themselves, and also people and nature. I think there's a common feeling across the world that we lose this. We've lost our connection with our neighbor and we've lost our connection with nature. So for people in general, they feel that biosphere reserves added this to their life. I'm not going to go too much in this. I suspect some people may already have talked to you about the history. Of course, it's 50 years ago. The MAB program was approved by the member states. One work group came up with this idea of having biosphere reserves. And then it's only 20 years later that we really came to norming of the model. Initially, biosphere reserves could be more or less anything. In 1995, that changed. And I will get back to that. And I just wanted to underline that Man and Biosphere is not just about biosphere reserves. So there are many other programs over the years, and I've listed some, but I won't go into them right now. From a paradigm perspective, the Biosphere Reserve came at a time when there were two leading paradigms in conservation. The one was what we call the wilderness or the Yellowstone approach after the American protected area that started. It's basically remove everyone and fence it. That is one approach to conservation. The other extreme is the landscape approach, where we say, let's educate everyone. We don't protect anything. We don't create protected areas, but everyone is sensitized to have responsible approach. That's the open landscape. And the biosphere reserves are in between. Some areas have to be protected, but we also have a landscape approach with people, cities, mines, agricultural area, everything included. We have some guiding principles for MAP. Of course, it's part of UNESCO. So UNESCO works in other areas, education, culture, and so on. So we want our programs to figure there. It states here, because I've copied it, participation of local communities, but we actually want more than participation. We want stewardship, decision-making by local communities. Of course, it's a scientific program, so evidence should be data-driven by research. Which things worked, which things didn't work, why didn't they work, can you prove it, and so on. Also including traditional knowledge, and essentially it's a multidisciplinary program. That's very important. It's not a program of a Ministry of Environment or an Environment Department or a Water Department. The big challenge is to make it as multidisciplinary as possible. A bit more on how it works. This is the governance structure. I don't think it is particularly relevant for this meeting. Of course, you know and you understand that the biosphere reserves fit in a national framework, fit in regional frameworks, and ultimately in a global map council. But I don't think this is really that important today. Just to highlight there that we have a fully operational and very active African map subnetwork, AfriMap. It's been fully operational for a bit more than 10 years, and South Africa is very active in it. Currently, it is still chaired by Ghana, but I have a secret hope that South Africa at some stage will maybe also chair it, which would be exciting, of course, for us based here in Harare. MAB has always been about cooperation. As UNESCO, we just offer framework. If you want to offer the building, but everybody else does all the work. So we have many partners, including in the UN, including now the major conventions, climate change, and so on. Many NGOs, many global scientific programs, and indeed universities and research institutions. All the biosphere reserves I know have direct cooperation with the university, at least one university. In 1995, as I mentioned, the model shifted from being extremely flexible, almost random, to a slightly more strict model. But there are really only two strict criteria, which are these three zones. There's a feeling that there should be strictly protected zones in a landscape to be sustainable, and buffer zones, but also transition zones. The transition zones are mandatory, and those can be towns, agricultural areas, even mining areas, and so on, because they are part of the human landscape. We cannot say they're not part. And then the functions that have to be observed, because the learning was that these are necessary. Conservation and development, of course, but also what we call logistic support, which includes research, education, awareness, and so on. So those are the three pillars that are necessary for success. Other than that, the model is extremely flexible. We did develop some criteria for the assessment. I won't go into it here. This is also for people who are thinking of submitting a biosphere reserve. So there are some criteria, but in general, the model is really very flexible. It's about trying different things and learning. The network is very big today. You can see some stats there. At the bottom in italics, I insisted again that yes, it is one model, but biosphere reserves, in my experience, have very different reasons for existing. There are different drivers for their establishment, and there are very, very different approaches, which is a wealth of the network. That's how we learn. And I have some examples of that, places that I know, and each time on the little box with the red text is my message that I get from people when I go there. This is Niagara in Canada. It's the biggest waterfall in the world. And this is a place with some very, very rich people who live there. And it's an extremely popular place with tourists and vulnerable. So the reason they created the biosphere is really about land use planning. You can find on their website a detailed land use plan. That's really what they want. Everyone to agree what we do with this landscape. This is also in Canada, but completely different. This biosphere reserve was created from protest and conflicts of indigenous communities who felt they were being trampled on, and at the same time, people who were protesting against logging of ancient forests. And the government agreed to fund Biosphere Reserve with a trust fund of 1 million Canadian dollars for people to have self-governance in the area. It's a very different reason for existence. This one is closer to us in Mulanje in Malawi. The Mulanje Mountain provides significant services to the rest of the country, but was always a marginalized area. And the reason for creating the Biosphere Reserve was much more to be known as contributing to the economy, contributing water, contributing crops, biodiversity, systemic. So that's another different reason. This one is in Switzerland, and this is just a marketing rationale. Switzerland has hundreds of mountain valleys where people can go for weekend recreation. And they thought, can we use the Biosphere Reserve as a brand to outcompete our neighbors? And they did some serious research and they found out it worked. So they create products that are branded from the Biosphere Reserve, and it actually has increased their economic revenue, and they've proven that in some research. So again, a completely different reason. This one it's closer to home again, Cape West Coast. I always found that one of the main reasons of creating the Cape West Coast Biosphere Reserve was education. Education for all, education for sustainable development. And even today, I put at the bottom there, they have submitted a request for a new citizen science initiative, again, about people participating in learning and education. And I always find that that is the central theme of the Cape West Coast Biosphere Reserve. This is another one. It's almost the last one. This is an island of the island of Principe. It's off the west coast of Africa. Here it was schools who wanted to make the island free of plastic bottles. That was actually the starting point of making the whole island biosphere reserve, and they managed to do it. And the last one is Kazakhstan and Russia, a transboundary mountain area. These people had to go to the capital to ask for the possibility to meet with their neighbors. And of course, you can imagine that was a cumbersome process. You cannot get these committees together on a regular basis, but because the Biosphere Reserve was created, they can actually meet whenever they want, despite the fact that there is a country boundary. So these are just some completely different reasons for biosphere reserves to exist, and they're also managed in very different ways, which the next point I wanted to make is that the program has developed all the biosphere reserves, but they have also influenced the program. It has also influenced other programs. In our own UNESCO World Heritage program, we see that after 25 years of MAB and 25 years of heritage in the 1990s, they started using buffer zones, which comes from the MAB program, including community buffers, which are equivalent to our transition zones. And also a new category of cultural landscapes was created. In our region, we have several other landscape approaches. I've included some here. You could say CVNRM, community forest, community conservancies are some form of landscape approach. These parks, the TFCAs, are also. And we have the term landscapes in South Africa, sustainable landscapes. And FAO, for instance, has a program on landscapes for life. So these are all, you could call them almost spin-offs. I don't claim any ownership by UNESCO, but the ideas led to other ideas. And from an academic point of view, I would really love to see some research for Southern Africa comparing these landscape approaches. That doesn't exist actually. We have some evaluations of each program, but to my knowledge, no one has really compared all this wealth of experience, knowledge. So that's maybe just a bullet for you to take note of. A comment that every 10 years we have a Congress. We try to have a Congress every 10 years, sometimes it's 11 or 12. And then we have a strategic action plan that guides us. I've just listed the main points here. The first two are typical. We come back every time we want to make the network more effective and results oriented. The third and fourth are interesting. We have been asked to make more focus on partnerships and traditionally, initially, UNESCO was more focused on, as I said, providing the house, providing the framework, and it was felt others will get the funding, others will do the work. But we have been asked also to be more proactive. And point D there is about better communication, information, and data sharing. Those are interesting new points that we also find in our own work. And this is our own work in the region. I give you an idea what the regional office for Southern Africa in that has as a program. So of course we generally support headquarters with the implementation of the MAP program, particularly increasing the number of biosphere reserves and improving their governance. We also work on education for sustainable development specifically, and we have a number of activities particularly related to resilience, climate change adaptation, disaster response. That has become a little bit of a niche focus. And I just wanted to mention that we, as an office, we also support natural heritage in Southern Africa. So we refer generally to UNESCO sites when biosphere reserve and natural heritage sites. This is just a reminder. You may have seen this. Well, this is for Southern Africa, so you may have seen the South African ones. But we now have 16, I think it's 16 biosphere reserves in 6 countries that we support. Botswana, Namibia, and Zambia are missing, and that's one of the things I hope to do before I hope to see at least before I retire that they also join. But I came here in 1997, and none of this is my doing, but I'm happy to see that since then all 6 countries have joined the program. That's really taken off. It's really, really exciting. I mentioned that we have been asked to go more towards implementation on the ground, be more active in fundraising and actually doing some work rather than just waiting for others to do it, playing a supporting role. So we have a set of projects that we refer to as Be Resilient, which also the B and the R also correspond to biosphere reserve. And many of the projects are about resilience. We have a regional one, the whole of Southern Africa, and then we have 2 national, well, semi-national ones. There is one in South Africa, and there is another one that is on the border between Mozambique and Zimbabwe, the Chimanimani areas. So we actually hope to roll this out and have national programs in all and projects in all the countries. Some mentioned that MAP goes beyond biosphere reserves. I wanted to mention, because we are quite proud of it, that for the first time after 32 other tries, the third session of the International Council was held in Africa, in Abuja in Nigeria this year. So we're very proud of that. And I hope someday there will be an ICC Council in our region as well. And then we have regular opportunities for people to participate in different ways. We just launched the call for roster of volunteer experts. We have a regular network of MAP youth as part of our sub-networks, which is quite successful and very exciting to see young people. I firmly believe that when they go out and participate in one of the events of the MAP Youth Network, it changes their life, in my opinion. And then we have some awards and fellowships that are also available annually. And that's my presentation. I'm sorry if I went very quickly and gave an overview that is maybe not really geared towards research, but I hope here and there was a slide that was useful to some of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guy, for the presentation and for also sharing with us UNESCO's MAB program. And colleagues, let me indicate that Guy is UNESCO's regional program specialist for natural sciences. So once again, thank you so much. So, Mr. Guy, we would like to invite you to join us for tea. We are now waiting for 10 minutes for tea, please. Let's wait for tea and come back after 10 minutes. Thank you.
Elton, can you pass me the laptop? I want to test the internet behind the back. Go.
Check for the names.
Just.
What about this body?
Only on the wall.
Can ask on the program SRC. The program SRC information. Did you give it to them? I think it's best if we make sure that they are all done in time.
Yeah, I think during the next segment, contemplates of
Mama Banda was still. We should make it a point of no, that lady is helping me. Yeah. Yeah, eh. Very man, thank you, man.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm really one like me, but the Naga is a sticky. Rana, what on it? This don't have no odd. So only me, map and you make it.
You will IT, no ICT.
ICT.
Yes, ICT.
Yeah. There's no one from ICT.
See what that guy?
No, we are ICT, all of us.
Go again, can I go down?
Can't. Can you just share the before? You think what I'm saying? That one I don't. Then you bring that as well. I will even ask you how to figure out the now. We are paying us no. We're not printing anything. We are paying us. So, I'm going to provide you. If we connect asset,
Mara time chao vana ufi murandu chisina chisashimika wifi asset settings
What else are actually yes, in Napa?
yeah.
what was my laptop doing? Why are you calling so low? What were you doing with the laptop?
Ndiyona iko project yange
Why?
ola munhu ari project yange ikubvisa zviscreen zvinji zvinji
You need to disconnect.
kuzivanzori yaikuita mini kwebona
I see. So it's what I mean.
I don't know.
Ask Kebulu. Are you sure? Evan.
She trying something for that screen. You want to go to
Hey. But I don't know if Kebulu is yet.
Look at me, change the channel.
I don't see China and Lucia Kebulu.
You never follow the channel.
Hey, Lucia,
Marcarena.
so the problem is the cable.
Is that better?
I don't make a blue liner in a Titan.
What number? What you do number? What's the way mark?
You like a bullet in a television. Okay. On the laptop was killed. So look at laptop. Look at laptop. Look at keyboard. Just mute the mic for now. I don't know what to
Ndi wakulu kwezi. Yama.
Man.
Baraka wewe.
Colleagues, I hope you have enjoyed the seating. And in the interest of time, let me now invite to the podium Mr. from VDR with the VDR youth chairperson. So let's
thank you, Program Director, Dr. Zaga. And all I would like to say is, wow, I feel honored to be here today. It's such a great opportunity as a youth network. And saying to the VC, Dr. Vhembe, I am Kuzana Jackson, final year student, currently doing Bachelor of Environmental Science, Bachelor of Environmental Sciences at the University of Vhembe. So yes, I'm a product of this institution. I'm a product of Dr. Vhembe. I'm a product of Dr. STEM. I'm a product of Dr. Support. I'm a product of Dr. Vhembe. Yeah, we can just mention them. So today we come here to celebrate the Vhembe Biosphere 50th anniversary, which is something huge, and it's also huge to the Vhembe Biosphere Reserve Youth Network, because today is the day that we finally launched the VBR Youth Network, or this is the day that we give birth to the Vhembe Biosphere Reserve Youth Network. You've heard Mr. Makoni saying that the Vhembe Biosphere Reserve is the only biosphere with the youth network, and actually the first. And I feel honored to be the first chairperson of the youth network. So I'm just gonna have a very small talk. Then from there, I'll welcome one of the youngsters in the youth network, people who are doing amazing, and why. What is the importance of having a youth network inside the biosphere? So I'll start by saying this. Although Africa is richly blessed in terms of biodiversity, the representation of youth at major events and in key discussions, such as the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, is actually lacking. In other words, you find that there are key discussions, there are major events that the participation of youth is lacking. That's why we saw it fit as the youth network to say we want to be part of the change. We cannot be talking of climate change when there is no youth. Everywhere we are talking about sustainability, there is no sustainability without the youth. Because when you talk about sustainability, we talk about preserving the environment for the future generation. So we are the future generation. We are the champions of tomorrow. What I want to say is the VBR concept is something that is known mostly by university students. It's something that is known by intellects. We don't want that. We want to change that mindset of saying the VBR or the Vhembe or what is a biosphere in general should be a university thing. We want to go out there, have an impact on all the surrounding areas to say we need youth to become part of us. We need youth to participate in all those key discussions that are taking place across the globe. So some of the things, unfortunately, I don't have them to project, but then I'll just highlight a few things that as a youth network we've actually participated in. We have had cleanup campaigns around Prelo. We have had cleanup campaign, I think it was last month, we had a cleanup campaign inside the campus university of Vhembe campus. Though it was just a minor step to test the ground if it's fertile enough, and through the response we can say, VC, we are asking for that platform to shine to the University of Vhembe as the youth network to say, even if we come to your doors knocking, please let us in, because we are definitely going to come looking for assistance. We are definitely going to come looking for a helping hand, because alone we cannot do it. But then if we have close cooperation with the University of Vhembe as the VBI mother body, we can definitely do it as a VBI youth network. And one other thing that I want to take into consideration is this celebration gave rise to the youth network, and we believe that we were honored to be here as the youth network to come and say, we as the youth network, we are ready to work. We are ready to become the light. We are ready to have an impact on this environment, on this biosphere. I'll just go back to what Prof. Francis said. He said that for us to have a clean environment, we need to first clean the mindset. So as the youth network, we want to clean the mindset, because one of our major objectives is to capacitate and also bring youth together. So we want to go out there, capacitate other youngsters that being in a biosphere reserve, it's not only for those who are getting educated, it's actually for everyone who lives amongst it. And as the University of Vhembe, we're actually blessed as one university that is found inside the biosphere reserve. So we are going to come at different places. Univen And Vhembe, we need to come with you to say, we need to have that platform to notify the youth out there, to say this is how they can be part of the change. Because a lot of people have been asking themselves, when we talk about the COP programs, it's only all those dignitaries. Where's the youth? Where are the people that see things in a different perspective from the others? So with all that being said, I just want to conclude by saying we thank you, Mr. Makoni. We thank you, Dr. Mbweni, for giving us such a platform as young people to say we want to be part of the solution, because it's about life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson, for such a moving speech. So, colleagues, without any further waste of time, let me now invite Mr. Ndao from the Partnerships of Green Services. Let's welcome
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. My name is Mudawa Chezo, and I am the founder and managing director of the Pato Chezo Green Services and the Pato Green Technologies. So if you can take a bigger picture, you will agree with me that recycling is the best thing to do. Like we all know that we didn't inherit this land from our ancestors, but we borrow it from our children. So we have to protect it, not for us, but for our children. But if you don't want to take part on protecting the environment, please abandon me. Let's not make children. Because we are bringing them in a very bad situation, a very bad environment. So it's our duty, and we have to choose what to do and what to do. So in the publication or in the publication of green services, we specialize with waste material. We collect different waste material and convert them into useful and valuable materials. I'm talking about plastic waste and biomass waste. This process, waste, we design our own processes. We don't have machinery, so we design the reactors, we design the processes, and also the molds and the machines to make the final product. So currently we are only focusing on plastic waste and biomass, but the product that we are making are for construction, building, bricks and paving bricks, tombstones, road surfacing, and also energy source, which is a charcoal briquettes. I will start with the plastic technology. With this plastic technology, we involve nanotechnology, where we put the carbon nanomaterial for strength and to enhance strength and for fire retardance. Because we know that plastics are flammable, so when we use them, we have to involve other materials so that we avoid the burning of the final product. The other thing is that these materials, we use them to bind. These products that we make, they are very strong. You know, we have plastic bricks that are made of plastic waste, building bricks and stepping stones, road surfacing or cold-solution technology. These bricks are very strong. The advantages of processing this waste to plastic bricks or those materials that we didn't use cement to make this product. We didn't use water. This product removes unwanted material from the environment. So we are not just doing it, we are cleaning the environment. So the bricks are made cheaper compared to cement and sand bricks. So these bricks are going to be more than 40% less compared to the bricks that we have on the market. The good thing about this technology is that it dries and solidifies within 30 minutes of exposure to sun or air. So it means that I can make the bricks now, we go out for lunch, and when we come back, the bricks are ready for use. So the other thing about this product is that they are rainwater harvesters. They are water and water absorbent. The risk of dew and fungus is almost eliminated, and this will ensure clean water. So if you can use them as a rainwater harvester, this is a win-win situation for us. We'll be cleaning the environment, having low-cost products with high strength and lots of applications. There are a lot of properties that the bricks that we have, like the properties that they have with these bricks. They are very strong. They are very strong compared to the bricks that we have, and then they cannot just break easily. The water properties, I'll just talk about it, they are non-water absorbent, and then they are the binding properties that these bricks, you can use cement when you build it. Someone will be asking themselves, what are you going to use to build? You are going to use the same cement that we use to build using the ordinary bricks. And you will also plaster them, or you can leave them to show people that, hey, we have used advanced technology to build a certain house. The other thing, the thermal property. These bricks are fire retardant because we include nanotechnology. With nanotechnology, we all know that it's the leading technology in the world. So once you involve nanotechnology in your product, you know that we set ourselves away from the competition. So the other projects that I made, or we made the projects, these are plastic waste, the tombstone made of plastic waste. I made this this product, we made it this year. It has less than 6 months, it's still under development. So the main purpose is to develop an efficient way to effectively utilize the waste plastics, and that plastic waste is a great threat to the sustainment of the ecological balance. So we also want to reduce the consumption of earth-based material. We know that the tombstones that are there in the market, they use different materials which they dig. But here, I'm saying that we don't have to dig. We just have to collect what we have already on earth to make other products. And the other thing is that we will be reducing the insect area. Just imagine if we can make 100 ton stones. It means we've given, like we do something, the waste, and give it like a permanent place where they're making money. Let's say you are driving a car. So I don't have a car, but I know that it's nice to have a car. So let's say you are driving a car. You are going to work, you are just relaxed. Obviously, you'll be playing music. My car is on the road, and then you reach a pothole. Obviously, you have to go down. Not only to the pothole, but you also have to go down into your pocket. We all know that pothole is a very big problem, and it has gained attention from the public, the government, and the media. So the publisher, the Green Surfacing, has designed or developed alternative products which we will use to avert the road accidents that are caused by the potholes. So here we use the plastic, the waste plastic with other applications like crash stones in road surfacing. The main purpose here is to replace what we have on the traditional road surfacing material. We have a bitumen. Bitumen is very environmental friendly and is very expensive. So here we replace that bitumen with the carbon nanomaterial. So this technology is going to be less compared to the technology that we have in terms of pricing, but it's going to last long because with the carbon nanomaterials, everything that we make becomes strong. So the goal here is to have technology that can withstand extreme weather conditions in the heavy loads. We are trying by all means to avoid potholes so that when we make our road surfacing, we want to make sure that the process that happens before the pothole is formed, it won't occur. Let me tell you a little bit for what happens to the pothole. When it is hot, the bitumen stretches. When it comes cool and it comes down, when it rains, it forms cracks. Those cracks, they form potholes. So that's why you find something like this one, a pothole. So here, we just took the process of making bricks and then we modify it with other materials to make a road surfacing or pothole filler. So we are not just going to make a pothole filler, we are also going to make a road surfacing. We all know we have lots of streets where there is no road, not only streets, even main roads, they don't have tar roads, they are just gravel. So this is a solution. There are a lot of problems that we are solving using this technology of plastic waste processing. One of the problems that we are solving is that we reduce millions of tons of plastic that end up sitting at our landfill sites. We are going to reduce millions of rands that are going to be used on making the product that are made, the alternatives of products that are made. So we don't use water and cement and bitumen. I think that one is obvious. Because we are not going to buy them, we are not going to involve or to contribute in the pollution that is made with these big industries. This benefit, though, it exists only as long as waste plastic lasts. Yes, it's true, but there are a lot of plastics, waste plastics out there. By the way, even though we can stop making plastic now, we cannot use all the plastic that we have in the world. So we still have a lot of the resources that we use. Climate change is majorly caused by increased heat trending. So before I get here, this is the second project. I am done with the plastic project. Those are the products that I make using plastic waste. But there are other products that we make using plastic waste. Can you read the one on the spray? Yes, that one. That one is a master batch. A master batch is a combination of carbon nanomaterials and waste materials. With that material, we can make chairs. By the way, I want to make sure that we replace wood, we replace steel. So we want to make tables, we want to make chairs, we want to make toys using the same waste material. And the other thing is that we also want to make diesel fuel from plastic waste material. Making diesel is very simple using waste material. We use the pyrolysis process. I think lots of people know the pyrolysis process. Pyro means fire, lysis means breaking down. So here we'll be breaking down the long-chain hydrocarbons into smaller ones in the absence of oxygen, in the temperature ranging 400 degrees to 500 degrees Celsius. We will be generating gaseous product, liquid product, and a solid product. The liquid product will be a diesel fuel, which you will use it immediately when you are done with making this pyrolysis process. You are not going to modify the engine. You are just going to use it as it is, and it will be just like your car. There we go. So I am done with the plastic technology. Those are the products that we make using the plastic technology. As I said in the beginning, we also recycle biomass. The biomass I'm talking about leaves, trees, sawdust, and other things like branches. By the way, we don't cut trees. We collect dead parts of the trees. So if we go to a tree, we look for dead parts and we collect them. We never use chopped trees to make our product. So climate change is majority caused by increased shrinking gases, known as greenhouse gases, in the atmosphere. One of the mitigation measures of climate change is the adoption of biomass briquettes as an alternative source of energy, which reduce dependence on food wood, forest wood, as the main source of energy. According to the World Health Organization, uses of wood fuel, charcoal and firewood constitutes to the global environmental health and risk that accounts of over 4 million annual deaths related to the use of type of that fuel that causes indoor pollution. So now we know what kind of problems that we are trying to tackle using this technology. We are trying to reduce deforestation. We are trying to reduce the emissions that are emitted using the other fuels like charcoal and firewood. By the way, with this charcoal biomass waste, we make the eco briquettes. We call them Ashamurio. Other people also call me Mr. Ashamurio, and I'm fine with that. We also make biochar-based organic fertilizer. I like this one because it's very flexible product. But I'm not going to tell you everything about the biochar. I will just highlight one of the things that it does. So I'll start with the advantages of Ashamurio eco briquettes. Economically, they are cheaper than firewood and can save cost by 50% and save 6% in cooking time. They are reliable. You can find them all. They are always available all the time of the year. They are healthy, producing no smoke or less smoke during the ignition and during the burning time. They are eco-friendly because we don't use chopped trees. And this one is they give like a simple or obvious advantages. So with the Ashamurio eco briquettes, with 1 ton of Ashamurio eco briquettes, we save 25 trees. So here we are trying by all means to make sure that we protect the trees that we have. We don't necessarily have to plant the trees to replace to say we are planting the trees now, and then knowing that that trees, maybe if it's a fruit trees, we know that now I'm 29 years old. We know that there are possibilities that I cannot eat the fruit, but I'm not saying that. Just saying so there is a little property of the products. Like I've said, they are smokeless. They burn without much smoke during the shooting and burning. They have low ash content, and then the other thing about these ashes is that you can utilize them as an organic fertilizer. So after using them, you can just put them on your garden, and they are odorless. You can use them inside the house. So they contain minimum evaporating substance. That's eliminate the possibility of odor. So we also use them in the house when it is cold. We don't use this heaters and stuff. We use Ashamurio eco briquettes. They are sparkless. That is why we use them inside the house, because they don't produce sparks like charcoals and firewood. By the way, the pictures that you see there are the pictures of the charcoal Ashamurio eco briquettes. We took them when we were making them. They are not from the internet. I mentioned I've talked about the product which is called biochar. Biochar is very flexible. Biochar, by the way, is a soil amender, or soil amender or a soil enhancer. But here, as the green surface, we have several ingredients which we put on this biochar to make it a complete fertilizer. So now you have two in one. You have a soil amender and a organic fertilizer. So there are a lot of advantages that you can get when you use the organic based fertilizer, which is a biochar. The biochar to restore damage, soil damage by overuse of chemicals. Those people who have farms, they know that most of them they use chemical fertilizer. So with those fertilizers, you will make your land or your soil to be barren. So it's no longer going to produce this nutrient. So with the biochar, once you put it on your land or on your soil, you are going to give it back again, like give it this real life, like it was when we started to make crops. So it also increased the crop yield. They say biochar alone dramatically increase the harvest. So if we are talking about 3 tomatoes in one tree, we're talking about 5 to 6 tomatoes. And you can also use it as an animal nutrient. Adding 1 to 5% of biochar to animal feed improves weight gain and egg laying. So you can use them also in the animals. And we can also use them like on feed, like our own, as a people, you can eat it, but I'm not saying the one that I get. We have to develop it in such a way that women can eat that material. And it also helps with animal health. Biochar in chicken, rabbit, cow, and pig food reduce intestinal illness. So you can use it as a medicine now. And it also helps with income, because biochar raises poor farmers, farmers' income by improving their crops and by giving them something that they can sell in the market. Just like what I'm doing now. I'm going to make some money using this product. So there are a lot of advantages of the benefits of this material or this product, which is biochar based organic fertilizer. It will restore damaged soil, it will improve yields, it increase water penetration and retention. It will reduce acidity, it will revitalize the soil life, it binds up contaminants that will otherwise enter the water and food chain, and also make the crop healthier. Now I want to talk a little bit about Vhembe Biosphere Reserve. But what I know is that they don't have money, they always take this. These guys, they don't have it. But I know that they know people with money, just like Univen. Even though I don't know they have money, but they know people or good people just like Univen. And the other thing that they do, they give protection to our beautiful land, or special land. They also live in heritage, and they protect flora and fauna. They also visualize a region of balance between man and biosphere, between human needs and needs of our unique and diverse environment. The biosphere is here to partner, to facilitate, to foster normality, with all to make sure continuity, sustainability, and regeneration of care. VBR is a vehicle for transformation. I took it from Mr. Mahoney when he was here. So with me, VBR is helping a lot. Let me tell you the truth. Since I met them in the beginning of this year, my life has changed. I've met lots of people, just like now, I'm here in front of you because of these guys. So the other thing is that they are connecting me with people what are not necessarily connecting me, but linking me, because the word connect says another thing. So now I want to talk with the University of Vhembe. I'm not I'm not a student, I'm an outsider. So I wish one day I would work with the university. I see a lot of opportunities in the University of Vhembe, which we can work together and bear the stories. I wish to get access to amazing facilities that they have. I know the beautiful labs, look at this room. So I know that we can do much better things. We can partner with the University of Vhembe. And the University of Vhembe is a hotbed of ideas and talent. We have lots of people here who are talented and who have good ideas. So I wish to work with them so that there are many academics that need to work with industry to support their researches. But if you have the computational services already on board, it will be easy, to do such things. And I want them to offer me a space for growing my business. I don't know how, but I will accept anything. As long as I'm working with the University of Vhembe, we also have agricultural services. We also have lots of ideas which I didn't include in this presentation, which I wish we can have people like our institutions like Univen, where we can utilize those ideas, helping other people. There are people who want to make business, but they don't know what to do or how to do it. But we can give them ideas and they can choose whether it will work for them or not. We can even make a process where it will be owned by university. For example, the disease process that I was talking about. You can make it mobile. When you go out telling people about awareness, we have to do something to show them. Tell them to collect waste plastic. Give them a process, make diesel, and show them that you collect waste plastic, you make diesel, you use diesel to do this. Then it's simple. It's not like telling people, standing in front of people and say, let's stop deforestation, let's stop deforestation. Okay, what is it that they have to use if they are stopping deforestation? I shall do it. Lastly, I know that if I can funding and support from other people. So people will be asking, this guy is talking about nanotechnology, he's talking about this advanced technology. I'm not working alone. I have people who are helping me. I have Sabinano, they are funding Jovet. They are my partners. This company is led by Professor Samuel Musanga. He's a professor at Vhembe University. He's a professor, he's a full professor there. So this company, Sabinano, they are assisting me with the nanomaterials to enhance strength and fire resistance properties. And we involve in nanotechnology with us, which is an advanced technology. You can see the web www.sabinano.co.za. In fact, these guys are my first partners. So we are doing lots of things together, which I will include in this proposal. So I also have a National Cleaner Production Center. The functional servicing has been, it has formed part of database of small SMEs that the National Cleaner Production Center has, and they've been providing support, helping me to assist me with other people like VBR. So by the way, for me to come here to be a part of the Vhembe Biosphere Youth Network, I was linked to them by this NCPS. So the Vhembe Biosphere Reserve, I've said a lot about this guy. By the way, they are just like an umbrella to me. They are helping me not to bend and not to get away with the rain. So everything that I said before about the biosphere is correct. They are assisting me with the network, managing of the business, and they are also helping me to introduce me to other people who can fund or support the business. I also have the CSIR. The assistance us with the preparing of master bench. The master bench is a combination of plastic waste and the carbon nanomaterial. Something that I didn't do it myself. It was a project, it was a call proposal, which took mostly around 9 months. We were preparing this master bench. And for what we discovered is that there is no one. We try to research. I'm not putting myself out there, but there is no one who has ever had the master bench of carbon nanomaterials and waste plastic. So this master bench, which makes this technology very simple, because we just have a master bench and they have different modes. So just like I said, we can make different shares, we can make choices. Because of this master bench, with the master bench, you do everything that you like. I also have the South African National Parks. They are also helping me or assisting me with the networking, marketing of the business, and get funding opportunities. So all these people, they've been helping me to be where I am now. I'm not that far, but I can see where there's a light after the tunnel. I am done, but before I go, I would like us to concentrate more on what is happening on our we all know about gender-based violence. You know, if you have a team conversation with your partner and you push them around the walls, maybe you can put them with water, maybe you can just make their phones. You have to know that you are not a crazy partner. You are abusive, you are violent. Stop that. Thank you very much.
I thought you would clap hands and take your Yeah, absolutely. You have really managed to give most of us that speechless. Maybe before we could proceed, I see on the right has his hand up.
Yeah, sorry, I know it's not very protocol of the program. But would you mind telling people which degree you did and who makes your equipment? I think the story is way bigger. It's something that not Nigeria but just people CNN can have. It's something that just that I don't want to take much time. Just that those two things who makes it. I've been there, I know. So I just want to get the compliment. Yeah, what's your idea? I think you know it.
Okay, thank you. My highest qualification is everything that I have done, we are very good that we are going to see differently.
I told you that someone is coming on the next time.
Okay, thank you so much. As I've indicated earlier on, you have left most of us speechless. But let me indicate that I'm pleased that you made your presentation before the CEO and the Vice Chancellor and Principal of this university. And I have also taken note that there are a number of issues that you raised about partnering with universities of Vhembe. But we haven't started putting our Vice Chancellor on the spot. I'm sure when he comes to the podium, he'll be able to respond to most of the issues that you raised. So I think you deserve another round of applause. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Before proceeding to the next item, let me invite Dr. Koza and the team to give us an item. Aware that you are very much capable of composing a song that is relevant to the presentation. Oh.
Well, program director, you put me on the spot. I'm not going to win that one. But then perhaps based on what Bob said about people reacting to what we're doing, if you feel like you want to stand up and do exactly what I'm doing, feel free. I was not supposed to be doing what I'm going to do now, but I want to improve here. So if you want me to stand up, we'll be doing a very simple concept. The Baptist again now. So if you want to sort of like follow our choreography, go to me. So they'll be doing the same behind me. Yeah. One, two.
Thank you so much, Univen and Vhembe. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have a great pleasure to invite to the podium the Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Vhembe, Dr. Bernard Chandleri, to come and deliver keynote address. So let's welcome Dr. Chandleri.